Well, here I am, and it's 7 minutes late. Um, I'm the Old Growler, as you can see. Certainly attest to that. If anybody is out there and has tuned in, I hope you tuned in a little bit late. Yes, things were a little hectic today. Let's see now. This is, I hope, set up. It looks like it's a live chat. It says that I'm 32 seconds into the show. Let's see if I can say something to myself here, boy. Hello, Peter. Hello, Peter. Peter. Okay. And let's see, that goes in. We put it in there right now. And does it? It says hello, Peter. So here I am talking to myself. I tell you, it's been interesting. Sitting here, as I say, trying to keep things in mind. If there's anybody watching, let's see. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Learn more. I don't need to learn any more on that. Well, I tell you, it's been I mean, for those of you who aren't here, I don't know what I'm drinking, but it says something on here. It says a pale ale. Okay, so I got a pale ale here. Let's see what we got. I'm going to pour it on a computer. Yeah, I'm going to pour it right on a computer. Hey, Dave. How's it going? Good to see you. I might have got on a little bit late here. My premiere, I come about 3 minutes late. I had to rush over and pick up a growler. Yes, sir. Since it's this is about the Old Growler. This here is a growler. That's what it is. But I finally opened it up. Oh, cheers, Mayor. Good to see you as well. At least I've got the family here. You guys get to see me drink beer. Yeah, isn't that exciting? Well, yes, the Henry Street Ale House is open for giving growlers out. You have to take your own over, and the Dark Elf was very fastidious about cleaning the growler that I gave him, so I came on a little bit late. But I've got the word out to I was mentioned, or I made mention of this in a couple of the social media things and stuff. Oh yeah, I bet even at the gas station they had, yeah. But I mean, it used to be that I could sit there and have a couple of glasses of beer. Now they force me to bring it home so that I can have it. So the atmosphere is not quite the same. But other than that, it was a fairly productive day. Got in touch with a bunch of people that I hadn't talked to in a while. Did a little bit of research for the Barfly book, but not much. Mainly sorting through files. So, and that was about it. But what I've got here it's a pale ale. It's certainly as I can see as you can tell by the this is called Belgian lace. The little bit of foam that comes down after I take a sip. See, it leaves that little bit of foam on there, which comes from the proteins in the beer, which means that it is brewed with a lot of malt, a lot of malt. And yeah, you're right. It is very pale. particularly for a pale ale. But it's got a nice flavor to it. Well, very well balanced. If you remember yesterday, talking about the balance in beer, and it was particularly frustrating when we were beer judges because a very well balanced beer and well made wouldn't stand out, and so you kind of missed it in a way, to where if you had it, by yourself, and you would say, "Wow, that's a really good beer." There's a little bit of a hop current in there that is a little bit like if you take the rind of a lemon and a grapefruit and kind of squeeze them together. That's what you get. Well, let's see now. What else would I be talking about if I was sitting there with my buddies? Well, sports, of course. Mainly food, though. That would be the thing. And talking about different types of foods and how to cook them. Jeff, the court officer there, and some of the other guys they know what they're talking about. They know their way around the kitchen. I did hear some good news that I don't know if you remember hearing me tell about Ralph the cook, who was at the Waterfront Ale House. Well, he might be going to the Henry Street if and when it opens again. When it opens again. Bullshit. When it opens again. So, let's see. Boy, you guys are really good to hang out with me this long. Oh, Shelby, what food would pair nice with this beer? Which beer are you drinking there, Shelby? Monica, greetings. Yeah, isn't that good news about Ralph? Although that's hearsay, and it's on its way. It's on its way. I was talking to Jerry today, so that's it. With the beer that I have here, oh, okay. Oh, geez. Boy, if I was going to have a snack with this, oh boy, I'd go with a soft pretzel. I think a soft pretzel right about now, that would do it. And if I was going to sit down to a dinner, I might be going for probably a fish on this one, because it's got a little saline to it. Thank you for crossing your fingers for me, Monica. Let's see, what else would we be talking about? As I say, food. Food is the big thing now. Getting to practice my knife skills, onions and carrots and good stuff like that. The beers, some of the brewing companies are still sending samples out, so I might have a sample or two to try over the next few days. Let's see, I've got at least 4 or 5 from Harpoon, and that might be fun. Let's see. Oh, if anybody has any ideas of what beers that they might want to see. What have you been cooking? You're heavily bored with your kitchen. As the cooking goes, it was a chuck roast braised in a red wine. We've got some wine here. It wasn't beer, no, but it was with the usual melange of the vegetables to start with, to get the aromatics down there. So made sure that it was seared nicely and left alone for a couple of 3 hours at probably around. I think I cooked it at around 300. So that was the start of it. What do I have in the pantry? Oh, that's going to be interesting. A lot of beans and a lot of pasta, and so it's going to be interesting to see what I can put together with the beans and the pasta and rice. A lot of rice. So you're right. It's a challenge. I've been tempted to try to steam rice, the same type of long grain rice, in 3 different types of beer. To steam it with stout, to steam it with an ale, and to steam it with a lager. and see what the different flavor differences were. I saw a video recently about someone who boiled noodles in beer, and I thought that would be interesting to see what type of flavors that the different noodles would take on if they were boiled in the beer. Of course, another interesting thing would be to put together simple syrups with the three different beers, the dark stout and things. If I to for the rice, I would steam it. It would be the beer. That would be it. As far as the noodles, if I have enough really stale beer back there, and I'm pretty sure I do because I've got at least three cases, maybe four, of samples that have been sitting in there for a long time. If some of them are ales or lagers, they certainly would be past their time, and I would try boiling them, the noodles, in the beer without any water. Some of them might save their little lives because they're high in alcohol, and if they're high in alcohol, they probably would have lasted a little while. So, but yeah, I'd like to try to see, and if even if it was a small pot of noodles, just to see what would happen to get that much beer together. Aha! Shelby says, "May I make my noodles in Sam Adams lager?" Well, how does that turn out? What's the major flavor component on that? What does it add? Is it a malt or more of the hop flavor? We'll find out. Oh boy, I worked hard for this beer. I got to have another. Henry Street Ale House is about, I'd say, 15 minutes away. A smoked taste. Ah, now that's interesting. Whoa, whoa, whoa! This is going to get exciting. I might have a little bit more thought and things to do in the kitchen now that a smoked taste. That's an idea. Goes good with an Alfredo sauce. Yeah, the richness of that's true. And you have a little smoky with that Alfredo. And I got a question for you kids. I know Mary and Dave are on the energy drinks, or have the energy drinks in their hands, or something like that. But how about the rest of you kids? What's the beverage of the day for the folks for the rest of you guys that are out there? Oh, that's good. I certainly hope I'm not drinking alone. I mean, that would be that's the reason I'm setting this thing up. Then that's the difference between illusion and delusion. And well, at least the weather's been fine. That's something to talk about. Oh, okay. Mary is joining me in an iced tea. That's it. Well, we'll definitely have some new beers. As I said, the sample beers tomorrow and what's today? Tuesday? Yes, and Wednesday. Oh, and for those of you watching, tomorrow at I believe it's 9 o'clock in the morning on the regular channel on my YouTube channel. The latest beer tasting goes hot, so you can take a look at that. We'll have two tastings tomorrow. One on video and one live. You guys stocked for coffee up there in New Hampshire? talking to Mary and Dave there, up there in the coals of New Hampshire. Excellent. But staying warm, I hope. That's the important thing. Yes, sir. The I've been following the beer press news about what they're doing to survive, and many of the smaller breweries, their tasting rooms can remain open for delivery services. Excellent, excellent. Good to hear that at least you got the coffee down in Georgia and up in New Hampshire. All right. Well, it certainly is a varied group. I guess we've got New Hampshire, we've got Brooklyn, we've got Georgia, a couple of different parts of Brooklyn. Goes to show what technology can do. And of course, let's see, coming up with taste and flavor, interesting things. Beer tastings, which is, as I say, what we'll have a taste off tomorrow, maybe between two similar types of beers. Tasting beers are always kind of difficult for me because if you're going to rate them as 1 to 5, that's difficult. Our usual tasting procedure is, does it meet expectations? And for those of you who've watched the channel before, or for those of you who haven't watched the channel before, what we do is we get together at the Henry Street Ale House and we grab ourselves a container of beer and we take a look at the label, read it off as if we were regular customers and interested in the beer, and we figure out what we should expect from it, and then we crack it open, taste it, and see if it meets expectations. And there have been a couple of times that it hasn't. Does this one? Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. Dave asked, does this meet expectations? I would say yes. I asked for those of you who are new here, the two bartenders there, Peter Z and Slip and Fall, Jerry, have known me very, very well for years and years and years. And so I just kind of go in and say, I'm thirsty. You know, what beer am I drinking today? And they come up with the beers. And this one is a pale ale. And I'm not too sure. Wait a minute. I think I've got it written down. Let's see if I've got it in my pocket. Hold on. All right, what do we got here? Oh, okay, kids. This is an El Segundo Broken Skull. Okay, somebody was slipping me a good one. Okay, Broken Skull. I have a feeling that this one is. I'm going to feel this one. So yeah, well, in that case, it does meet. It exceeds expectations for sure because it was smooth, and It doesn't have a lot of alcohol flavor to it. Usually, alcohol has a little bit of a heat that you can get, especially at the back of the palate. You can taste it, but feel it. But this one isn't. And ooh, okay. Well, here's the answer to that one. Yes, it does meet expectations. And now we know what I have a growler full of. Broken Skull. Okay. But anyways, that's what I do. How I get my, as far as meeting expectations. That is when I go into the ale house. That's what I expect. I think one of my favorite experiences was being able to walk into a restaurant and sit down and say to the waiter, just tell chef that Peter LaFrance is here and he's hungry, and he's got around $120 to spend. Feed me and see what I got. So that was that's my idea of a fun thing to do. The price on that was only because it was in a certain restaurant, and it was Leal. Okay, let's see what else is new and exciting. Any questions? Let's see. Oh, it was outstanding. I was very carnivorous, still carnivorous, but at that time I was particularly carnivorous. And there was, I seem to remember fondly some sautéed pâté or sautéed foie gras that was involved. But that was a long time ago. Yeah. Oh, back when I was still working at Beverage Media, so that had to have been 90, 91, 92. I don't do the math terribly well. No, not now. No. Trying to figure out ages and especially working on the ebook I'm working on, My Life as a Professional Barfly, remembering back to some of the places, and they're so clear in my mind, and then I go and search for them on the web to make sure that I have the dates right, and I realize that I'm talking about places that I haven't been there for 25 years, and it's a little sobering. So that's my small rant for today. But yeah, it is. But it's been interesting studying, particularly remembering the changes in journalism from when journalism was typewriters and carbon paper to the trash 80s and to the PCs, and then the PCs fighting with the Macs, and particularly in magazine, you had to have a Mac. That was all there was to it. So, and now here we are talking to each other on video. I mean, that's it's a thought. It's definitely it's just a thought. I stole that from one of the other YouTubers there, Bo. Let's see now. Phew. If there was any way I could ask you kids get you in more than this, I would, but I couldn't buy you a beer. I wish I could buy you all a beer. That was for sure. But except for Mary and Dave, and I could get you some coffees with cream. That would whipped cream. That would be a tasty treat, I'm sure. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm going to have a couple of more sips here, as I usually would. There it is. Can you make us steak? Okay, well, let's see. Now, hold on. Stay very still. Don't move. Ready? Your steak. Did it work? No? It didn't work. Oh. Yeah, I could, instead of coffee, yeah, I could. Yeah, okay, well, I'll make you coffee. That's what kind of coffee now? Oh dear. Yeah, that's well. If there's anything coming up with a bad pun, I'm certainly I will never apologize for a bad pun. It's in bad taste. That's for sure. And let's see the red suspenders. They're going to stay, I think. Somebody was talking about getting rid of them, but no, I kind of like my red suspenders. They hold things up. And let's see, what else have we got to talk about? The hats. The hats. Bad taste, unlike the beer. Well, that's the truth. Yeah, that's true. I can. Well, maybe over the next few days we might come across a beer that doesn't taste good. Oh yeah, that's true. Apologizing for that sucks. You should never apologize for a bad pun. It's your own fault, and you should be proud of it. Oh yeah, there was a speaking of proud of it. That was the and diet and what are we cooking? Uh, in the BBC has a series of presentations that were done during the Second World War on rationing, and the dietitians that were prepared to do the rationing, and they were prepared to figure out exactly what certain amounts of foods people need to keep themselves up, but they missed the flavor part a little bit, but they tried to keep everything as they could possibly do to maintain a good diet. And it worked. It worked very well. There were some side effects, though, that these scientists noticed, and one of them, and the major complaint about the diet was an intense, a good increase in flatulence. So sometimes a good diet, and if we're on rations, and that was reminded me of cooking and beans and rice and of course beer. But beer without the flatulence of the yeast in there, we would not have the foam. So sometimes it's a good thing. Uh, let's see, what else? We've talked about flatulence. We've talked about beer. We've talked about food. We've talked about steak and coffee, and punning. Yeah. And let's see, what else? I got on a little late, so I'm going to stay on a little bit late if you kids don't mind. I've still got you with me, I do believe. I promise I won't stay more than another 10 minutes. That way you guys can go about and leave me alone to drink my beer. No. Actually, since it is crawling up to 5:45, there'll be time to put together tonight's dinner. A wheat sheet a little bit here. We're lucky enough to, as some of you guys know, we have something called Blue Apron that delivers every Saturday. So we don't have to worry about starving. Number one, we don't have to worry about really having to live off of those rice and beans. Although I am wicked tempted to do something really, a nice big huge dish just to have it there for some reason. It's a comforting thing. All right, Mayor, it was a pleasure to have you here. And what are you guys having for dinner? If you've got a few lines there to tell us, or is it planned yet? I think we've got shrimp and lettuce cups, Mexican shrimp and lettuce cups. A little esoteric. That's true. Yes, and I'm afraid I'm I'm going to put on a few pounds over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, here we go, Mayor. Rice and beans. Okay, well, look out for the flatulence up there. That's. Oh, pork chops with applesauce and bacon. Okay. Oh, well, geez, boy, I tell you, you folks, we're certainly not starving. That's the truth. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank all of you guys. I want to thank Monica. I want to thank Shelby and Mary and Dave for stopping in. It was a lot of fun talking with you fellas. And it's I've never been one not to been able to pontificate, so I'll try and come up with a few more anecdotes for tomorrow. If you have any questions, certainly hit me up with them. I'll be here at I hope next time 5 o'clock on the dot, and then we'll have another beer with the Old Growler. Okay, again, thanks, Monica. Thanks, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Shelby. And we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Stay safe.